Good day and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Poo and welcome to day 253 of a year of change. Today is the start of a new week and I'm not quite with it. It's been a rough couple of days. We talked yesterday a little bit. I knew that things were not going as planned. I had taken this first week. I knew that there was going to be some sort of an adjustment period where I'm on a new schedule, so I've got to change when I eat and stuff like that. And I knew that there was going to be a bit of a plateau, but I didn't really expect to gain until yesterday when I took a sneak peek, which I need to stop doing. And I keep saying that every week, but I'm going to keep doing it. So, but I knew that yesterday at that point, then yes, there was going to be a gain, and there was. So I did my weigh-in this morning. So yes, before we start in and get in on all this stuff, do your weigh-in. Just do your weigh-in. Weigh yourself 3 times. Take the highest number, as per usual, which is what I did. And I've gained 2.2 pounds this week. I was going to try to say, well, I'm up 2 pounds, or I seem to have acquired. I wanted to find this nice little euphemism, but no, I gained 2 pounds. I have somehow exceeded my caloric intake, or my caloric intake has exceeded my caloric burning exertion. No. What am I trying to think of? My burning. It sounds like I should see a doctor. My calorie deficit? No, anyway, whatever it is. The amount of calories I have expended. There we go. My expenditure. There we are. My caloric intake has exceeded my expenditure. So I went to look through my entire week to find out, okay, I knew that that there was going to be a gain. And in my head, I want to say, well, yeah, but I'm changing my schedule. I'm changing, when I'm eating. And I knew that it was bad because I was skipping lunch and I was just having coffee throughout the day. But I didn't think, that can't really account for a full 2 pounds, I don't think. In my head, I want to say, yes, this is part of the transition. But I just think that 2 pounds is a little much. So I went back, I tried to look through my food and see, what I may have missed. Because I've been tracking everything. I've been doing my treadmill every day. So in my head, I'm thinking I'm on track. So I got to find out something. Obviously, it's something I'm doing. It's not going to be, well, obviously, I drank too much coffee this week. That's not going to make you gain 2 pounds. So I know there's something that I've missed. So I went back through and I thought, well, we're sort of focusing on fiber this week, and last week and this week. That's what I'm going to look at first. So I went through and I was all right. So this week I had 23 grams. Not great. Went back the week before. 19 grams. So I'm thinking, all right, I've gone up by 4 grams. This is the average, daily average, by the way, not 23 grams in total for the week. I'm averaging around 23 grams a day. And then the week before was 19. So I'm thinking, all right, well, that's a little bit more. That should be fine. So I went further back. And after the 19, then the week before, boom. 38 grams, 28 grams, and then 32 grams and 33 grams. So it was much, much higher. Now, I'm not saying that, having 2 weeks of shitty fiber intake is what's caused it. So let me finish and then we'll get to it. So I started going through my sodium. The week before was higher than it should be, but this week it's under the 2300, so I'm okay there. So my sodium levels are all right. Sugar levels seem to be okay if I remember correctly. Yeah. But when I'm going through, there's something that really sort of jumped out at me. Well, 2 things really that really jumped out. One, there was one day that almost 70% of my diet for that day were carbohydrates because I had rice in a tortilla, which is not good. That's not going to throw you off for an entire week though, just having that. But it is a symptom of a larger problem. And the issue is that my fruit and vegetable intake has gone way, way down in the past couple of weeks. Normally, I have throughout every meal, I'll have vegetables with pretty much everything, and then fruit throughout the day. That's usually what I have for my snacks. So I'm going through and I'm missing some. Like there are days and days and days where I'm going through with just nothing. Like I had a couple of bananas here and there. I've had some onions with some food. I was going to say mushrooms, but mushrooms aren't fruit or vegetables. We've never done fungus, actually, have we? I don't think so. I want to say we did no, we didn't do years ago. We didn't. I don't think we've ever done it. There's not much to say, really. There's white button mushrooms, and then every other mushroom, which tastes like white button mushrooms, I assume. They all taste the same, don't they? There we go. That's mushrooms. We're done. That was really fucking easy. All right, so getting back to what we were talking about. The fruit and vegetable intake has gone way down. I know that we did sort of, like, aside from the pomegranates, a couple of weeks ago and the passion fruit on Wednesday, I haven't really had that same level of intake that I had before. I mean, I was going through 4 or 5 apples a day because that's what my regular snack was. But the thing is, I think part of that is because the Koro apples aren't here anymore. I can't get them, which drives me nuts because now that I've had those, everything else you're like, they're kind of mushy and they're mealy and they're gross and like, who wants to go to a Macintosh after having a Koro apple? So I've sort of just not been buying apples in general, which I think has sort of bled into not buying the rest of the stuff. And that might be part of the problem. Just because I've always had so much fruit, or so many fruits and vegetables all the time, and it's not just the fiber portion of it. I mean, I'm still eating regular cereals and oats and stuff like that, so that's where I think where my fiber is coming from. But not having those fruits and vegetables around all the time, like even normally would have baby spinach in my fridge all the time. I don't have that. So by not having that all the time, aside from the regular fiber that I would normally get from it, all the vitamins and the minerals and everything else, every scrap of nutrition that I would normally get from that, I don't have. Now again, not eating vegetables is not going to make you, or not eating, no, how am I going to word this? Neglecting to eat fruits and vegetables will not make you gain weight, okay? Because there's still calories in there. I mean, they help with a whole slew of other things, but it's just in general, although I've been under my calories, I think in part anyway, a very small part, the contributing factor to the weight gain was because of that schedule change. Then I've just been eating really poorly all week, and I think that's where the gain came from. I could very well be under my calories. I mean, I'm looking at my MyFitnessPal, and yes, I'm under, but I mean it's very, very close some days. But even though I'm staying under, the quality of the food that I'm eating could be reacting differently, and that's why it's sort of sticking around a lot longer than it should. That's the main thing, is that it's not a matter of, well, it's my schedule, so I don't have time for this, or I drank too much coffee, or I didn't eat enough fruits or vegetables. It's all of them put together. I just really shitty eating for the past week is what's caused it. But, I mean, it is a bit discouraging when you first look down, and this is something I'm going to talk about tomorrow in a little more detail, but it can be a bit discouraging when you're still looking at your numbers going, I'm still below where I need to be, I'm still exercising, and yes, I gained. Shit. It's rough, because I'm at that Elvis cusp again, which is driving me up a wall, which I've been talking about for 3 or 4 weeks now. But I know that eventually it's going to drop off, so I'm not beating myself up about it too much. I know that it's something that I've done, so I've been able to go back and take a look at my eating history for the past couple of weeks and say, okay, well, obviously that's where the hole is. That's where that gap is that I need to fill. So it's just a matter of going out, buying a shit ton of fruits and vegetables, and having them back in the house again, like I normally do. Actually, I think I have grapes in my freezer still. I do. I still have 2 bags of grapes in my freezer now that I think about it. And they have been in there a long, long time. See? Shit like that. Not going after stuff like that, and instead just going, well, I'm just going to come home and have a meal and everything else. So I need to sort of tweak things that way just to get to where I need to be. When you have a day like this, we'll get to the emotional side of it later on tomorrow. But for now, I mean, when you're looking at it and saying, well, shit, I've gained again, but I'm doing everything right, go back through. And I've had to do this a number of times because it happens every once in a while when you go through and you go, yeah, it was just a really bad week all the way around. And inevitably, you're going to find something in there that you're going to say, oh, that's probably what it is. As I say, there was having a meal of rice and burritos. Probably, well, it wasn't actually burritos. It was rice in a burrito wrap with onions and eggs. Very good, but just having like a big, carbohydrate dump. Not a poop thing, but a big just shoveling that in your face for your last meal of the day. Even though I was up for another 4 or 5 hours after that and I was doing stuff and things like that, it's probably not great. That's not what made me gain the 2 pounds, but that sort of eating habit of saying, well, I'm not going to have a balanced meal this meal. And then the next meal is, well, I won't have a balanced meal here. Just poor eating all the way around is what's caused it. So, but, all right, long term, it's just a bad week. It's just held me back another week. And I'm not going to double up to try to lose 4 pounds this week and work extra hard and run for an extra 5 kilometers and try to double up on everything just to sort of catch up to where I need to be. Because I'm going to stay the way that stay doing what we've been doing for the past 8 months or so, and I know that it's eventually going to go down again. And part of that is going to be where this is my second week on days. I have a little better idea as to what my schedule is going to be like. Should not be skipping lunch. That's a big thing too. I know this sounds weird. I mean, it doesn't really matter when you have your food during the run of the day. But if I'm saving up and then at the end of the day having this great big meal, the way I was eating before, if I was going to have a large meal, it normally would be either at breakfast or for my lunch. That would be my big meal because then I can just keep going throughout the day, burn everything off. I know it doesn't work that way, but you know what I mean. Just in my head, that's how I've been eating, so my body's gotten used to it. So changing that all around has just thrown it out of whack. So I don't think I'm going to lose 4 pounds this week by a long shot. So I'm not even going to strive for it. I'm going to stick to what I've been doing, except add in more fruits and vegetables and eat healthier. Try to say, okay, I know now how my day's schedule is going to go. So now I can plan out things a little more that are going to be a little more suitable for my eating habits, and have, even if it's something small at lunch, like a piece of fruit or some cottage cheese, something that so that when I come home, I'm not having a great big meal. Because although the number, when you have your calories throughout the day, don't matter. It doesn't really have too much of an effect, I don't think, in the long term. But if I'm saving up and then gorging at the end of the day, it's not going to be good. So I want to have something at least in the middle of the day, so that when I come home, I can have a reasonable 500 or 600 calorie meal, and it should be fine at that point. I'm rambling. I know I'm rambling. I'm sorry. I can't help it. But it can be a bit discouraging when you see that and you just like, shit. But not to sort of go, oh, well, yay, everything's still awesome. No, just I'm allowed to feel shitty, which is what we're going to talk about tomorrow. But in general, I know that it's something that I've done. So it's a simple matter of going in, and as long as you've been tracking everything that you've been doing, you'll be able to go back and see where your gaps are and say, well, I had 3 peanut butter sandwiches on Tuesday. That's probably why. So, yeah, I mean, and you'll be able to see it because even if you're not paying for the premium thing, which I still am not with MyFitnessPal, I'm still on the free one because I don't really need the other stuff. When I'm going through and it's showing all the different nutrients throughout the run of the week, and then on Thursday there was this big blue spike. So that's when I went into it. I was, oh, yes, I had tortilla things and rice and this, that, and the other thing. And I had it, I think, 2 days this week, 2 or 3 days this week. Because it's easier just to prepare it and then everything is done. So get back on track this week. I feel like I say that a lot though. It's like, oh, I'll get back on track this week, but I have been making progress. So if I could look back and say, well, for the past 3 months I haven't lost anything. It's been very, 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 very slow, but I have still been losing. I'm still making progress, and even if nothing else happens, I'm still doing my treadmill. So that's the main thing. I lost my train of thought. But what was I talking about with shitty foods? Yes. So I think that's really the main thing. You'll be able to go back. There we go. That's what I was talking about. You'll be able to go back and do some research, find out where your failings are for that week. And yes, they're failings. I'm not going to say, oh, what things you need to work on. We've said this right from the very beginning. We aren't going to use euphemisms. We're going to try to call things as they are. I'm fat, you're fat, we're all fat. We need to lose the weight. If we gain, then we gain. If we lose, then we lose. We aren't, oh, I'm up 2 pounds, or I seem to have found another 18 grams of whatever. No. So that's part of it. So find out where you fucked up during the run of the week, and you'll be able to see it, because we've been doing this for so long now that when you go back and look at it, you go, yep, there's the day. That's the problem. So, and it doesn't take much for that one day to sort of trigger all that stuff. So anyway, long story short, I knew that it was going to be bad. Didn't think it was going to be this bad, but just keep going the way I'm going. I have a much better idea as to what the schedule is going to be like. And now that I know that I need to go buy a whole bunch of fruits and vegetables, that's what I'm going to do. Yay. So at least I'll be a little bit more prepared, and hopefully take some stuff with me to lunch so that I'm not just sitting there and, scarfing down multiple coffees, which the way that they mix it at work, or the way that I have to mix it at work. I don't have to, but the way I mix it at work, there is a lot of sugar in there as well. I'm trying to get away from that, so that might be part of it. Although I'm still having 3 or 4 coffees a day like I was before. But anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. So we'll continue on with this tomorrow with all the emotional stuff in there, because it's just that discouragement is really, really tough to sort of get over. It's not always bad. So we'll deal with that later. But for right now, I'm going to leave this video here. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please poke the like button for me. And in the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.